tonight is a special time for us to be together. And again, it doesn't always happen that Veterans Day falls on Shabbat and goes right into the weekend. But this is also a chance for us. This is the first Shabbat service we had during the month of November, because usually we're doing like the first and third right now. Eventually we're going to have some Shabbat dinners. Starting in 23, we're going to have something every Friday night again. We're going back to that. But the next week, we're also going to have a Shabbat service live. And then, of course, the weekend after that, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of stuff happening. And before you know it, right after that, we're going to start getting geared up for Hanukkah. So Wendy, though, we're very glad to have Wendy here with us tonight, who's going to help lead us in music and help get us into the spirit of Shabbat. And again, for everyone who's joining us virtually, we're going to get going and get started with this celebration of Shabbat together. So again, we're going to begin with some of the ways that we gather together and recognize how special it is to be together in person. We're going to start with Hinei Ma Tov, right? So the prayer people know very well. It's usually, again, this is on page 2. You can find the Hebrew for it, and this is a melody that Wendy wrote. She composed. So this is a melody that kind of is a more upbeat version of Hinei Ma Tov. So we're going to start with that.
It's also on the screen. This is a good warm-up song. Everybody get your vocal cords going. Add some harmony. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Then we sing it in English. It's so good to be here. It is so good to be here, to pray with you tonight. It is so good to be here and pray with you tonight. We are gathered here together to join in joyful prayer, lifting our hearts and souls in song to the sacred space we share. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad.
And we have another opening song that we're going to put up on the screen. This is a melody composed by Nefesh Mountain. Do we have the lyrics for this too?
Yes, we're just going to switch slides. Mr. Mike. It's coming. Mr. Mike.
Let me get him.
Somebody's talking to Mike. Anyway, it's a really easy song, and we're going to be doing some clapping, singing, if you want to get up and dance and do the hora, whatever. It's coming. I promise. There it is. I want to hear somebody pray.
I know.
I want to hear somebody pray down in the valley and over yonder. I want to hear somebody pray. That's the whole song. 10 times as loud. There we go. I want to hear everybody pray. I want to hear everybody pray down in the valley and over yonder. I want to hear everybody pray. All right, the next one, singing. I want to hear everybody sing. Same words. I want to hear everybody sing. I want to hear everybody sing. next one's really easy. We're going to get out those clapping hands. You can clap through the whole song. I did this at some senior venues, and they did. But actually, they did it on the correct beat, so that was pretty cool. I want to hear everybody clap. I want to hear everybody clap. Down in the valley and over yonder. I want to hear everybody clap. Everybody sing. I want to hear everybody sing. I want to hear everybody sing. Down in the valley and over yonder. I want to hear everybody sing. I want to hear everybody pray.
We're going to sing another Nefesh Mountain song a little later in the service, but again, they're one of the Jewish musicians and bands that we've been featuring on our virtual services almost every week. We've been featuring a song from Nefesh Mountain. They're a great Americana folk Jewish band, really based in Eric and Donnie are the leaders of it, husband and wife. They're based in New Jersey, but they go all around the country now, playing and singing some great songs. So we're going to move into some of the more traditional songs that we do, some of the more traditional Shabbat melodies. And again, Wendy's got us a little warmed up. On a day that actually, we have our heater on right now. So this was one of the first days that we've had to have the heater on for Shabbat. We've had it on during classes the last few weeks, but definitely the first time for Shabbat service. So we're going to begin Shabbat officially by lighting the Shabbat candles on page 5. And I wanted to ask if Joanne, if you'd come up to help light Shabbat candles along with Sheila, if you'd come up. Come on up, Sheila. And again, this is one of the ways that we begin Shabbat officially.
The feeling you were going to ask.
I know. Well, we appreciate all you do for we had a board meeting just last night.
That's right, we did.
On page 5, you can find the blessings on page 5.
La 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 Try a match. It's being difficult.
Keep praying, Rabbi.
Pray for us.
Yes. Let's try. Whoop. I don't know. No, it won't stay. Wait.
I feel it.
No.
It's okay, I'll do it.
Okay. Okay. Come on. Let's do it. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, Mitzivanu le'adlik ner, Mitzivanu le'adlik ner, Mitzivanu le'adlik ner, Shel Shabbat. I can't see.
Let there be
She
joy.
needs to-
Let there be
You do
joy.
it
See that
again,
part?
Rabbi.
Let there be joy.
Let there be joy.
Let there
there
be
be
peace. Let there be.
Let there be
Let
light.
there be light.
Let
Let
there
there
be
be Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Let's take a moment too to say the traditional blessing over our families for children, grandchildren, for parents, great-grandparents going back through the generations. We have a chance to say the blessing for them. As we say for the male side of our family, we say Yesimcha Elohim ke Ephraim v'chi Menashe. And for the women, for the female side, we say Yesimech Elohim ke Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. And for everyone, the blessing of protection and peace. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you. And may God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace. And if you want to whisper a special thought, a prayer for the people in your life, please do that right now. So, as we continue with Lecha Dodi on page 6 of welcoming the Shabbat bride, when we welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi, gives us a chance to recognize the Shekhinah, the female presence of the Holy One, of the Divine. So on page 6, as we welcome Shabbat together, for the very last verse, we'll rise and we'll face the door, but we begin on page 6 with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. La Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor v'nipor echad, Hishmi'anu el hamei echad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem el tifara v'netila la Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lekrat Shabbat, lechu v'nucha, ki chimecha hamaracha, merosh mekedem nisuvcha, sof ma'aseh v'mashkavati la Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Ui v'shalom, aterepala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emonei am segula. Oi chala, Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Penei Shabbat nekabala. Penei Shabbat nekabala.
And we stay standing, we remain standing for the Baruch Hu on page 7. As we turn to face the ark, we remain standing for... La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Baruch Hu.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Hamevorach Le'olam Please be seated, everyone. As we continue on page 7, the Ma'ariv Aravim prayer is the nighttime prayer where we recognize the change from one day to the next, at the sunset, to look up at the stars and see the change of the seasons and the change from month to month. This month on the Jewish calendar, the month of Cheshvan, is interesting because it's the only month on the Jewish calendar where there's no holidays. And that Cheshvan usually overlaps pretty nicely with November, unless it's one of those crazy years where Hanukkah sneaks in at the very end of November. But November and Cheshvan are usually the times where we don't have holidays. But we'll have a lot of secular holidays during November, times of, again, honoring and thinking about veterans and thinking about Thanksgiving. But this season for us is really almost a quieter season. But I will tell you at the end of services tonight, when I have a chance to share with you some announcements, we have some exciting things that I found out today officially I can announce, and some good things to look forward to during this month of November, towards the end of the month, and also into our preparations for Hanukkah. So as we think about the beauty of the night sky, the transitions, the time of year that we're in right now, as we give thanks for the beauty of the evening, Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim, we praise you, God, who brings on the night sky. And as we continue now on page 8 with Ahavat Olam, which is our nighttime prayer of Ahava, of love.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael.
And the theme of love continues on page 9 with Shema Ve'ahavta. Page 9.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Gevot Malachuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Gevot Malachuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך.
ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך,
ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. As we continue on page 10 with Mi Chamocha, the song of freedom, the song of liberation, the song that we sang when we became free people. And this is another melody that Wendy wrote a few years ago. And again, modern interpretation of the ancient song that we sang.
Actually, I did not write the melody. It's Uncle Cracker. I stole the melody. Mocha bo'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nadar b'kodesh, nora tehidoro seifele, nora tehidoro seifele. And Moses said, follow me if you want to be free. I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. And Miriam and all the women danced with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea. Who is like you, O Lord, among the mighty? Who is like you, glorious in holiness, revered in praises, doing wondrous deeds? So now the people of Israel could cross the Red Sea. And Moses said, follow me if you want to be free. I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. Then Miriam and all the women danced with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea. Balachutecha ra'u v'necha bokeh hayom lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze Eliyahu v'yameru Adonai emloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai will reign forever and ever. The people chanted as they crossed the way to freedom, leaving Egypt for the promised land. They sang and danced and clapped their hands. Moses said, follow me if you want to be free. I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. The Miriam and all the women danced with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea.
On page 11, as we come to the Hashkivenu prayer, this is our nighttime prayer for peace. Tonight we are also, again, commemorating and remembering and honoring all those who've served our country in times of war. And of course, this holiday for us, Veterans Day, came out, was a variation, if you will, a way of transferring what was Armistice Day, the day that commemorated the end of World War I, into a national holiday and one that would be recognized every year, because after World War II, people recognized that World War I was just one war, that ended up engulfing Europe and the rest of the world. And of course, then the holiday became a day of remembering all of the United States servicemen and women that served our country. But of course, now we're also watching Europe fighting in a way that it hasn't in over 75 years. And so when we think about what's going on in our world right now at this very moment, and the fact that as Russian forces surrendered or withdrew, depending on whether you read Russian news sites or whether you read every other news site in the world, but I try to read Russian news sites as well. But their tactical withdrawal across the Dnieper River is now hopefully another slice, another piece of the end of a terrible war that is going on even as we speak. So we hope and pray for peace in Ukraine and around the world, in places that are engulfed by bloodshed, and hopefully again in our own world, let it be safe from violence and war. And so on page 11 is the nighttime prayer of peace, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu v'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu v'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. U'shmor tzitzeinu לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו
And at the bottom of page 11, the Hashkivenu concludes with a special prayer for peace in the Holy Land, in the land of our ancestors, the land of the Jewish people, Yerushalayim. And as Israel has gone through another election, just like we did. Well, not quite, because Israel has gone through 5 national elections in the last 4 years. So we hope that this will be an end to the weird election cycle that they've been in Israel. But again, we hope and pray for peace throughout Israel and the lands near it. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. And we had a chance this week to talk about Shabbat in our Wednesday night class. On page 12, we actually read this text, right? For those who are here with us tonight, those who are watching, maybe you can assent to the fact that we read Vishamru, we read this text from Exodus chapter 31. So in some cases, our prayers come directly from the Torah. This is one of those places. And as we read in the Torah, the context of this isn't where you'd think it would be. It's not a list of laws about keeping holidays. It's not. There are lists of holiday laws, and they also include Shabbat. Shabbat, as we talked about, is mentioned many times in the Torah. It's really one of the most frequently mentioned, not just rituals or holidays, but one of the most frequently mentioned and repeated commandments, including the 10 Commandments. But this text in particular comes from the description of the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. And what's so interesting is the Torah teaches us that even the holy work of the Mishkan was stopped on Shabbat. And so the lesson, of course, the takeaway is if we're not building the Mishkan on Shabbat, if we're not taking the holiest activity we could possibly do, building stuff for God, then the stuff that we normally do, we can also put it aside on Shabbat. And And as we saw in the Torah, it's not just a casual suggestion, right? It actually says you do it or you don't live. So it's an interesting idea of again, how important Shabbat was for the Jewish people over the generations. Really one of our defining characteristics. And on page 12, we sing the song of Shabbat, these words from the Torah, V'shamru.
Gotta hear more. Come on. Oops. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. V'nu yuvin b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. U'bayom hashvi Shabbat v'yenafash Shabbat v'yenafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. Yitgadash shemei Rabbah B'yomad yivrachutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyom echon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael b'gala u'b'zman korib v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam yom ve'omayah Yitbarak v'yishtabach Yitbar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalam Shmei Kedusha brechu Le'elam in kol berata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiron b'yamam V'imeru amen.
As we come to the Amidah on page 13, this is a time for us to pray out loud, but also with silent prayer. And as we do the Amidah now tonight, make sure again, you have to include, because we're in the fall and winter time, we actually say Mashiv HaRuach u'Morit HaGashem. We pray for wind and rain, and we got it. We got what we asked for. And this is hopefully going to give us some water for our life, for our reservoirs, for the future, and maybe a little snow on the mountains too. So as we come to page 13, we rise for the Amidah, and we continue after our out loud part on page 13, on our silently through 14 and 15, with our own silent tefillah, our own silent prayers, the Amidah for Shabbat. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei ha'kol, Ve'zocher chasdei avot ve'imaot, Umevi gula lifnei v'neihem, Leman shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech oholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Or do you say?
Please join me on page 15, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom Bimramah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akal Yisrael, Imru, Vimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimramah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akal Yisrael, Vimru, Vimru, Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akal Yisrael, 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 Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akal Yisrael.
the bottom of page 15, our prayer for healing, the Mishaberach, our chance to think about those in need of healing and pray for them and think about them now. So we ask you to say the names out loud of the people that you're personally thinking of in need of healing. Before we say Mishaberach, we want to have everyone say those names out loud as we go around.
Keith Bennett and Dan Hellman.
Joni Thaw, Joanne, Karen Barnett, and anyone else who's not feeling well.
Mary Lou Block, Mike Schwartz, Doreen.
Rabbi Marvin Goodman.
Mark Goodman.
Ron Goodman. Rabbi Goodman. What is his?
Mark Goodman. Mark.
Mark.
Thanks.
I used to know Mark. Buster City.
Mina Hersh, Mark Walker, Karen Barnett.
Lisa and Duncan Kelly.
Martha Stolen, Mike Grant, Karen House.
Jennifer Quinn.
Dennis George. And Barbosa.
Marilyn Hirsch, Mina Hirsch, Sue Jackson, Ines Del Marino, Jerry Cattell, Karen Barnett, and Mark Walker.
Rita Rafat. Mishaberach.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And thinking about health, we oftentimes recognize the illnesses, the ailments that are the physical ones, the ones that easily manifest, but the mental health issues are ones that we oftentimes have a difficulty even thinking about and even praying about. But as we today honor our veterans and think about our veterans, we have to recognize the serious crisis that's going on in our country. To really honor them, we have to do more to prevent the approximately 20 veterans every day who take their own lives, that are victims of ongoing trauma and mental health. And if you think that it's only people who are, in their 60s and 70s and alone and dealing with trauma, the largest cohort of people who are committing suicide, especially over these last few years, are the 34 to 44-year-old demographic. So it's a crisis that we oftentimes don't talk about, that we ignore, but it's truly an indictment on our society that this is happening, that these men and women and who have risked their lives and in some cases been injured physically, and in some cases have lost a lot more than just use of appendages, but also, again, are dealing with trauma mentally and emotionally, that this is happening in our country. So if we truly want to honor our veterans, we have to find a better way as a country to help them. And that's happening right now, because if you think about it, on average, about one person an hour who served our country has committed suicide. So this has been going on for several years, but it reached an epidemic over the last probably 5 or 6 years. And it's something that we need to recognize and do more if we're going to be continuing as a country that we can respect ourselves. This week was an interesting week because we had a chance to vote. We had a chance to exercise this wonderful opportunity we have as Americans at the beginning of the week, and then we come to the end of the week to honor veterans. And in the middle of that, we had Kristallnacht. We had the night of broken glass, as it's called. It's not called that in Germany, by the way. It's called the night of the Reichspogrom. And as Philip knows, and as some of you know too, because you sent me emails and sent me the stories that you saw about it. If you were in Germany this week and you get Kentucky Fried Chicken app, you got a special alert that there was a promotion to get everyone to buy chicken nuggets and cheese sauce in honor of Kristallnacht. They didn't mean to do it. I mean, it wasn't done heartlessly, and it wasn't done as an indication of the rise of anti-Semitism in Germany. It was a bot. It was a computer glitch that essentially sent out a promotion on every holiday in Germany. And thankfully, I guess you could say that Kristallnacht is actually a national holiday, and it's a Memorial Day in Germany. And the computer just automatically sent an alert to everybody telling them to go out to KFC on Kristallnacht. So it is another reminder, though, folks, that some of the holidays that we have, like Veterans Day, like Memorial Day, not officially a national holiday really in this country really, but 9/11, that these are not days that we can just have sales and think about going out for barbecues, but to really think about the meaning of these days. As silly and as really tragic as what happened to KFC in Germany, we do the same thing when we see these commercials about Veterans Day that are, getting a bed at a good price. So it's definitely something to think about this week. And tonight, in a moment, we're actually going to commemorate another difficult thing for us as Americans and as Jews, because this weekend is the fourth yard site on the Hebrew calendar of the worst tragedy in American Jewish history, the worst violence in American Jewish history, the Tree of Life shooting in Pittsburgh, which happened this weekend in Cheshvan on the Jewish calendar. So the people in Pittsburgh who gather through that community, and there were several synagogues, congregations that were actually part of the Tree of Life building, they'll be remembering it in Pittsburgh, and we are as well tonight. We'll remember those victims tonight as we say Kaddish, and we have a special song that we're going to do in honor of the Eitz Chaim, the Tree of Life in Pittsburgh. But so this has been a week filled with commemorations and a chance for us to reflect on things that are serious. And in a moment when we say Kaddish, we'll have a chance to remember and to honor those who were murdered, both in Kristallnacht, because it wasn't just a night of broken glass. There were people that were murdered that night, and also those who were victims of anti-Semitism in America. So first, we're going to turn to page 35 for Aleinu. We're going to ask everyone to rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא זעשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו כחכמנו, ואנחנו לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומו Moshe v'karo b'shamayim imah, u'shchinatu zo, b'kovei meromim. U'Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efesulato, hakatuv b'torato, v'yadat hayom v'hashevoto, elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim v'imah, v'ha'aretz v'ha'aretz, mitachad einod, 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 v'ne'emar v'hayadonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz, bayom ha'u yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated, everyone. Do Tree of Life now. So we're going to have Michael put up the lyrics for Tree of Life, the song that Nefesh Mountain wrote. And as I mentioned, this is the other song from Nefesh Mountain we're going to sing. This is the song that they wrote after the shooting 4 years ago. And if you want to hear them talk about why they wrote it and hear them perform it, you can actually look at the service, the virtual service that we put up at 5 o'clock. You can hear Nefesh Mountain talk about it before one of their concerts, about how they composed it or why they composed it. This was inspired by this. Look, everybody had reactions in this country to it, beyond just horrific feelings of sadness and trying to comprehend the incomprehensible. Our synagogue went out and spent tens of thousands of dollars on gates, on fences, and as people have found out this week and the last week, we're starting to actually lock them. So it took us a few years to fully and again, we had COVID in the middle of this. Obviously, it changed everything. But of course, the events over the last couple of weeks have further reinforced the idea that, again, as much as we're not living in fear in this country, we also have to recognize that there is real hate on the right, on the left, from all different places, from all different directions. And so this is a response that Nefesh Mountain created, which is this song. So this is called Tree of Life.
Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer and help these words heal someone out there. I am but a voice, a cry in the air, but I sing nonetheless in the pain we share. Oh, sweet friends, come and dry your eyes and hold each other by this tree of life. I'm angry and tired of this great divide, but I sing nonetheless with love on our side. Oh, sweet souls, follow your God now. We'll heal together somewhere, somehow. Time and again we've been let down, but we sing nonetheless still whole and still proud. Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there.
As we turn to page 36 for the Mourner's Kaddish, and tonight, in addition to those that we remember in our family, our friends, our loved ones, we remember Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. And we remember in our community our loved ones, Harry Edelman, Ethel Mandel, Lou Adler, Flora Levy, Gertrude Knock, Maurice Heller, Lillian Levine, Jerry Oster, Bernardo Azzani, Erwin Greenfield, Joel Levinson, Dale Meyerhoff, Mark Turer, Judith Mayton, Barbara Fredrickson, David Heim, Stanley Stolman, Sidney Schwartz, B. Horowitz, and Kurt Kaufman. And we remember over this last year, Marianne Himlin, Tova Ramon, Dan Zager, Adele Zager, Mariel Mandel, Sandra Hochberg, John King, Daniel Cohen, Dolores Pearl, Mo Blumen, Eric Milak, Barbara Hopkins, Matt Himlin, and Anita Locker. If there are any people whose names we haven't said that you're remembering right now, we ask you to say them before we say the Mourner's Kaddish.
David Dana.
On page 36, as we say Mourner's Kaddish, we ask you to rise and remember our loved ones together, the victims of war and the victims of terror, the victims of anti-Semitism. 4 years ago in Pittsburgh, 80 years ago in Germany and Austria, and in our own lives and our own world today. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Yisrael. B'agalau v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha barichu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, Amen. Amen. Please be seated, everyone. And again, before we finish up in here, we're going to, Wendy's going to play one more special song for peace. And again, in a week and a time when we're definitely praying for peace, praying for comfort and security and safety. We wanted to let people know that we have some things that we're looking forward to in the coming days. In addition to our classes, our Tuesday morning classes and Wednesday evening class, Tuesdays at 9 a.m., Wednesdays at 7 p.m., our Kings, our study of the book of Kings, and Tuesdays, and our study of the last chapters of Exodus on Wednesdays. We also have our grief, our loss support group that meets every Tuesday at 4 p.m., led by Dr. Joyce Schulman. Those are every week. These classes go on and these groups go on. We also want to let people know we've got, as I said, a couple of things coming up that are things that we are only going to be doing. They're only going to come around once. So a couple of months back, we did a special screening at the Laemmle Theater of Hallelujah, which was the movie that was made about, it was done about a very special song and a very interesting, special Jewish musician, Leonard Cohen. But we have a couple movies that I mentioned actually at High Holidays that are coming up that we thought would be interest to our community. And so we're going to be doing 2 screenings in the coming weeks. Right before Thanksgiving, on the 23rd, we're going to have a special screening of a new movie that is actually about the Laemmles themselves. It's called Only in Theaters, and it's going to be at 7:30 down the street. So we're not going to actually have class that night on the 23rd. We're going to have a screening. Now, I will tell you it'll be a little different than our last screening because this will be open to the public, and so there's about 50, I think there's a little bit more than we had like 45, 50 seats in the theater that we had. There'll be a little bit more in this, but you'll be able to order your tickets online, but it'll be first come, first serve. And that's 11/23, Wednesday night, so it's about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks from now. It's called Only in Theaters, and it's about the Laemmles. It's about the family, and it's about the theaters and how the changes they've gone through over the years. There's going to be a special guest at this screening that I confirmed just literally a couple hours ago. Greg Laemmle, who actually owns the theaters, who actually doesn't live in the area anymore. He lived in LA, but he's moved out of the area, but he's going to be here that week. He's doing some questions and answers at the movie theaters. The other Laemmles, but he's going to be here that night on Wednesday, 11/23, out here, and you'll be able to talk to him, meet him, and talk to him about the movie. So it's called Only in Theaters. And then the week after, on 11/29, so on Tuesday night, the following week, we're going to be able to see the movie The Fabelmans, which is a movie that's gotten a lot of critical acclaim. And that'll be at 7 o'clock. So the screening of Only in Theaters is 7:30. The screening on the 29th is at 7 p.m. And that's and again, you can read about The Fabelmans, see if that's a movie that you're interested in. That also will be open to the public, so it'll be a first come, first serve.
It's going to be a good movie.
What, Fabelmans?
Yeah.
Why?
Spielberg.
It's Spielberg. I think he produced it. I don't know that I'm not sure the whole story. Do you know the story about it? I don't really know the whole story. It's kind of growing up in Arizona. That's what I was told. But I don't know a lot about it, I have to say. We were trying to get a screening of Armageddon Time, but we weren't able. We didn't have time. We didn't have Armageddon Time. We didn't get it in time. But I don't know. Did anybody see it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, sorry, we didn't do it. But that one is probably going to be out a lot longer, or you'll have a chance to see it in other places. But these movies, I think Fabelmans, this might be the only theater that's going to show it out in Santa Clarita. I'm pretty sure. So that, and Only in Theaters, is probably only going to play it, well, it's not going to play in a lot of theaters, but it's definitely playing at their theaters. And you will only have one chance to see Greg Laemmle at that night. Yes?
There was a segment on last Sunday on the CBS Sunday morning show where Leslie Stahl interviewed Steven Spielberg about the movie.
Okay.
You can probably find it online.
Okay, thanks.
It was interesting. His
So-
life is more complicated
Okay.
than I thought.
So those are two screens coming up, and they're both age appropriate for any age or whatever, completely age appropriate. But now the best screening, or the most interesting screening, I think it's pretty cool. For years, the Laemmle Theaters have been doing something in the city on Christmas Eve. What do they do on Christmas Eve at the Laemmles?
Fiddler on the Roof.
Yes. So we have a very special screening of Fiddler on the Roof, sing-along, which will be on Christmas Eve, on 12/24, Christmas Eve, and we are able to get that, and we also have a very special guest who's going to help us with this, because he's done it many times at the Laemmle in Encino. Cantor Kenny Ellis will be here to help lead us in song for Fiddler on the Roof sing-along, and so that was just confirmed today, that's going to be 12/24.
Wendy going to be there?
I don't know. She didn't know. She didn't know about Fiddler on the Roof. So this is brand new. Literally, I found out about, we confirmed Kenny, not even a couple hours ago, I think like an hour ago, we found out that he's definitely going to be able to do it. So we're very excited that not only can Greg Lemley be there on that day, but Kenny Ellis will be here on the 24th of December. So a couple really exciting screenings going on at the Lemleys. And we're hoping that that'll continue, that this will be an ongoing thing that we'll be able to do. We're trying to keep it simple, which is why you can order the tickets online. And we're going to post the links by Sunday. The links will all be up. You'll be able to buy it. But again, we can't, the way we're doing it now, we can't guarantee that you have a ticket. Well, we couldn't guarantee you had a ticket before, but we're not controlling it. We don't own the tickets this time. So we'll see how this goes. And again, we hope that these will be really good ways for the community to come together and for us to just have some fun. So those are things going on in the next couple of months that are one-time things. Those are not like our classes and services and things that go on regularly. So we wanted to make sure everyone knew about that. And again, all the information will be up on our website. The other thing that I want to mention that is going to be a very special one-time thing, though it is connected to our next holiday of Hanukkah, is a boutique that actually Doreen is helping to put on, which will be 12/4 here at the temple. And we have some great vendors that are going to be here on December 4th that will be able to, 10 o'clock from 10 till 1.
Well,
We'll be,
I'm thinking about going, if I can get a lot of people in here, you might go a little longer.
all right. So, but starting at 10 and going through early afternoon is our Hanukkah boutique. So that'll be on the 4th, and we will have our announcement of all the Hanukkah dates and all the Hanukkah activities. Technically speaking, the Fiddler on the Roof is going to be included because it's in the nights of Hanukkah. It will be included of one of our, almost every night of Hanukkah, we've got something going on. From the kickoff, we'll give the dates and the times pretty soon when we announce the Hanukkah calendar. We have the kickoff at the mall. We're going to be doing that again in conjunction with the other congregations and community-wide event for Hanukkah. And we'll see what happens. I was on the phone today with Ralph's trying to figure out what they're going to put out. They actually asked me what we should include for Hanukkah at Ralph's, what things that they were going to put in their ad. So I put candles. I put latke mix. What did I put?
I don't know, but Target has a whole.
Yeah, Target has a great stuff of decorations and gifts. Yes, we showed. Yeah, we actually showed it. We showed it at class, Sheila. We showed what Target's doing. What some Targets are doing, not all Targets, by the way, Sheila. But ours is pretty good. But what else did I put on the list with Ralph's? I put frying oil. You see, I'm thinking ahead. I don't think they put oil in there, but I put candles, latke mix, oil, and I put donuts on there too. They said you must put donuts. What else?
Matzo balls.
I put matzo balls. You just want matzo balls all the time, man. You just any time is good for matzo ball. Well, John, there you go. So I'll tell them to put matzo balls out. Applesauce is a good one. I put chocolate coins, I think was the last thing. But I don't even know if they have chocolate coins. But I felt a great amount of power being able to dictate it's not what they're going to, it's what they'll put in their ad. Anyways, Philip, did you want to mention anything for the board?
No, just some good news. We did have the roofs repaired and maintenance before the most recent rain, and it appears we didn't have any leaks. So that was some SBA money well spent, I think.
And we're also getting a whole lot of more work done in the coming weeks too that the board approved on Thursday. You could say that. Yeah. Well, I said it, but whatever.
Yeah, we have some more improvements coming.
Excellent. And we will have an announcement, and Philip was on the phone this morning. Very soon we'll have the announcement for the generosity and donations that were brought in for the high holidays. We'll have that announcement in the coming days and probably by the end of next week. So thank you everybody for making that possible. Anything else, board members or Wendy? Yes.
I have delay. My brother Andy, who was a correspondent for Associated Press, and he actually was in Moscow for years. He came out of retirement to start reporting on the Ukraine situation, and he's doing a live Zoom Monday morning. If anybody wants to it's like 8 o'clock in the morning because he's on the East Coast. But I can give you all the Zoom information because he's been following, since he speaks Russian, he's been following all the Russian TV and news reports and all of that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Wendy told me about it. That is I'm looking forward to being a part of that. So Wendy will provide thank you, Wendy, for providing that Zoom link for people. So we are going to finish up in here tonight, and we have a very special song we're going to finish with, which is on the theme of peace and the fact that, again, it's sometimes a dream, but sometimes seems a little far off, but we're working towards it, creating peace in our world. So this is a vision that we've had for peace that goes back thousands of years to the Torah, to the Bible. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev, which you can find
It's going to be up.
It's going to be up here, right there. You'll find the lyrics up here. This is another melody, again, a version of this that Wendy wrote.
And there's going to be, when we get to the line where it says no more swords, no more wars, this is where I need you guys to sing. It's very easy. It's all on one note. Nations shall not lift up their swords. Nations shall not go to war. Nations shall not lift up their swords. Nations shall not go to war.
Thank you, Wendy. We're going to ask everybody to rise. We're going to do our Kiddush and Hamotzi in here, and then give everyone a chance to enjoy Oneg. And we'll do our Kiddush first, our blessing.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
And we'll say our Hamotzi. We want to mention, too, that our trip to Israel, even though the trip to Israel for February sold out, and we have a lot of people who are going, who are even here tonight on our February trip, we are now opening up our June trip to Israel, and we have some people who are going to go on our June trip who are already here. We have that limited to about 42, 43 people in addition on that trip, and we already have about 22 people that are going to be going on that trip. So make sure you register for the June trip before that one fills up. So we're going to be in Israel a couple times in the coming months, so that's very exciting. We'll do our Hamotzi, we'll do the blessing.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shabbat shalom.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat
Good Shabbos.
shalom.